You know, you're sitting in a packed sports bar, the game goes to commercial, and the background music just swells up perfectly to fill that silence.
Yeah, and then suddenly the fire alarm just completely cuts through the noise.
Right. And you probably never think about the audio equipment running that exact sequence, right?
Go ahead.
At least not until it fails. So today, welcome to our deep dive. Our mission is to unpack a technical spec sheet from HDTVSupply for the QSC MP-A40V.
Yeah, it's this $2,145 piece of hidden architecture
Right.
that just makes that whole seamless audio experience happen.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this because the main engine here is, well, it's something QSC calls FlexAmp technology. And I mean, the best way to visualize it is like your household water system.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're sharing the pressure.
Right. Like if no one is using the kitchen sink, your shower can just, tap into all that available water pressure. This amplifier does the exact same thing, but it's dynamically sharing electrical power.
Right, and what's fascinating here is, well, the mathematical flexibility of it all. So on paper, it's a 4-channel amp rated at 200 watts per channel. But FlexAmp allows you to pair channels so they share 400 watts in literally any ratio.
Wait, any ratio? Like completely lopsided.
Yeah, exactly. One channel can draw, say, 350 watts, leaving just 50 for its partner. It depends entirely on what the speakers actually demand at that exact millisecond.
Which really begs the question, right? Why would an audio system actually need to borrow power like that? I mean, most home setups just push equal power to the left and right speakers.
Well, commercial spaces are completely different beasts. This amp supports standard 4 or 8 ohm loads, but also alongside 70 or 100 volt lines.
Okay, right. Let's break that down because that's crucial.
Yeah.
Say in a restaurant, you might have one heavy, really power-hungry 8-ohm subwoofer near the amp to provide the bass.
Yeah, you need that punch.
Exactly. But then to get background music across the whole dining room, you have to daisy chain, like 30 tiny ceiling speakers over hundreds of feet of wire. That is where the 70-volt line comes in.
Right? It pushes the signal over those long distances without the voltage just dropping off completely. And without dynamic sharing, an installer would basically have to max out one channel just to drive that massive subwoofer.
While the ceiling speakers on the paired channel are, what, barely using a fraction of their 200 watts?
Exactly. That remaining power just sits there completely wasted. So FlexAmp prevents that by moving all that idle power over to the sub.
Okay, but hold on. If this, 9-pound unit is dynamically shifting 400 watts of power on the fly,
Yeah.
and it's constantly adjusting between high voltage lines and heavy subwoofers, shouldn't it just be a massive overheating metal box? I mean, moving that much electricity usually creates a ton of thermal waste.
You would absolutely expect it to run red hot, but that's where the Class D output circuitry comes in, paired with a switch mode power supply.
Meaning it's not just a traditional, continuous power draw?
Precisely.
Okay.
Unlike older amplifiers that keep power flowing constantly, which, bleeds off massive amounts of energy as heat, Class D acts a bit like a high-speed strobe light.
Oh, interesting. So it's pulsing.
Yeah, it switches the power on and off thousands of times a second.
Yeah.
It only delivers exact bursts of energy when the audio signal demands it. Because it isn't constantly quote-unquote on, it doesn't bake itself.
Which perfectly explains how it safely manages that 400-watt flex amp shifting without melting down. And why it fits into a tiny 1RU rack space instead of being like the size of a mini fridge.
Yeah, it's incredibly efficient. And it's smart about its downtime, too. It features an auto standby circuit, so if it senses 28 minutes of silence, it just goes to sleep to save power.
But it wakes up fast. Right.
Instantly. The moment an audio signal returns, it wakes up. And it uses this seamless auto ramp, so you don't get that harsh pop or clipping sound when the music kicks back in.
So it's managing its own thermals and its own power draw. But let's circle back to that fire alarm scenario from the beginning. How does a piece of audio gear actually talk to a building's emergency system?
Yeah, that is a great feature.
Because here's where it gets really interesting. The back panel features a dedicated 5-pin Euroblock remote input.
Right. And for those who haven't wired commercial gear lately, a Euroblock isn't just your standard plug-and-play AV cable. It's a terminal block where you insert bare wires and basically screw them down tight.
It's for permanent stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's designed for permanent, secure installations that absolutely cannot afford to get accidentally yanked out.
Right. You strip the wire, lock it down, and forget it. And one of the specific functions of this Euroblock connection is to integrate directly with the building's fire safety relay.
Which is crucial for code compliance.
Totally. If a fire alarm triggers, that relay sends a signal that instantly forces the amplifier into standby. It immediately kills the music, so emergency alarms and evacuation instructions have zero acoustic competition.
It's a brilliant example of life safety protocols built directly into the hardware layer. You don't have to rely on a panicked bartender remembering to mute the sports game during an actual emergency.
Exactly. So next time you're at a venue and an announcement cuts cleanly through the background noise, you'll know it's driven by highly efficient space-saving tech like the MP-A40V.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, we aren't just talking about a simple audio amplifier anymore. It's a smart utility node.
It really is.
It's balancing electrical load, maintaining audio fidelity, and strictly adhering to safety protocols, all in real time.
Which really makes you wonder about our broader infrastructure. If a localized audio amplifier can instantly and dynamically reroute shared power resources based on immediate demand, without wasting a drop.
Yeah, where else could we use that?
Right. How could our city power grids or even internet bandwidth systems benefit from applying this exact same FlexAmp style of dynamic allocation? Something to think about.